afternoon. Now listen to me. You all are, yes, good afternoon. So you all are requested to please take out page number 64 of the history part. Chapter number 9, regional cultures will do today. Okay, all are having the book?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me share the screen with you. And meanwhile, you all please focus on the screen to be shared. Yes, it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chapter. Okay, now all of you please mute yourself. Listen to me. If I put a videos on, so please make sure you sit in proper position, tie your hairs, and the background should be a good one, not a catchy one, not a distracting one. Okay. Okay. The chapter is regional cultures. So in this chapter, we'll study about the growth of regional cultures during the medieval period. We'll see how regional culture created the new styles of literature, painting, language, architecture, music, dance, and traditions. We will also learn about the famous scholars who helped shape and develop the regional languages. Clear? Is clear? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about the
Yes,
various
ma'am.
regions. Yeah, we'll talk about the various cultures. Then we shift to various languages, the regional literature and languages. Then we'll study the architecture, the dance, and the music along with the painting. So, the growth of regional cultures. First thing is the Rajasthan. You know where is Rajasthan?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Where it is in
yes,
India?
ma'am. Ma'am,
Which
near Madhya Pradesh.
Ma'am,
is in the
Madhya Gujarat.
east, west, north or south? Which side?
West.
Yeah, it's the
West.
western side of,
West.
yeah, western side, yeah. So when we talk about Rajasthan, we all know Rajasthan is famous for its architecture. Architecture समझते हैं आप? Monuments, forts, buildings. We know it
Yes,
is
ma'am.
famous for its arts and architectural styles, music, dance, paintings, and religious traditions and monuments too. And in the medieval period, Rajasthan saw the growth and development of a distinct culture in all these areas. Clear? Rajasthan, about the Rajasthan is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next,
Yes,
move to
ma'am.
Bengal. West Bengal. Where is West Bengal?
Ma'am, in
Bengal,
western side.
eastern side, not the western side. It's the eastern
On
side.
western side.
Western side,
Eastern side.
eastern side. So Bengal, we can say Bengal में क्या था? During Mughal period, Bengal was having the marshy lands and the forest, and these areas were the suitable for the cultivation for the agricultural purposes. At that time, the Mughal general Man Singh, उन्होंने क्या किया? He brought the East Bengal under the Mughal control and made Dhaka the capital of Bengal. Basically, Bangladesh की आज capital ढाका है. Okay, so what happened that time slowly and gradually, slowly and steadily, all the local communities, they came together, they merged together, and they form a new communities of peasants. The peasants, कौन थे? The farmers who work on the land, who used to live on the cultivation. So the Mughal officials who received land grant in the areas built mosques. You know what are mosques? Mosque पता है आपको क्या होते हैं?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, where the
ma'am. A
Muslims go to
worship
pray.
place. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, where the Muslim worship. Yes. So Mughal officials, what they did, they received the land grants in the huge amount from these areas, and they built mosques in these areas. The mosque that became the center of religious transformation. Or several Sufi saints. In the previous chapter, we have studied about Sufi saints, about the Pir, है ना? So
Yes, ma'am.
several Sufi saints they become very popular and they established the mosque, and they looked up the people with affection and love. And these Sufi saints were respected as Pir. Pir Baba सुना आपने कहीं Pir Baba Pir?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
and this
Yes, ma'am.
mosque, this became the centers of the new religious transformation and a development of the new culture took place during the medieval period in Bengal. Bengal is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes.
Now let's move to Odisha. Odisha. So when talk about Odisha, we have studied in the last chapter regarding Puri. Puri in Odisha. Puri, which is famous for the Lord Jagannath temple. Correct? Remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So
Yes,
at that
ma'am.
time, during the medieval period only, the Odi became the religious tradition of region, and this Odisha received a distinct identity. The example is given in a book, that is of the cult क्या होता है? The religious tradition of a region with a distinct identity. Like when talk
Ma'am,
about Odisha, हाँ?
what
जब
is
भी
the
हम
meaning of distinct identity?
identity, distinct means what is Hindi word of
Different.
distinct? Different we can say. Like when talk about Jammu and Kashmir, हम कटरा कटरा वैष्णो देवी बात करते तो जम्मू
मैम
कश्मीर दिमाग में आता है.
किस
We talk
अलग
about Lord Jagannath, हाँ, different, something unique, distinct identity, the unique identity we can say. When you talk about the Puri Lord Jagannath temple, हमारे लोगों में उड़ीसा आता है. बालाजी सुना आपने बालाजी?
यस मैम
Yes, ma'am.
South,
Yes,
south.
ma'am.
It's in south. Then Shirdi,
Yes, ma'am.
is in Nasik, near Nasik in Maharashtra. So different
Yes,
different
ma'am.
places have different distinct identities, right? Like I talk about the Golden Temple. कहाँ पे है ये? Where is Golden Temple?
Amritsar. Amritsar.
Amritsar.
अमृतसर
Amarnath is in Jammu and Kashmir,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So Odisha also received the distinct identity through a temple. There is a Lord Jagannath temple at Puri, Odisha, and which created a distinct culture for the region. The history of Lord Jagannath suggests that the deity was originally a local god. Lord Jagannath it was given a later name as Lord Vishnu. So
Vishnu.
it became the central cult in Odisha, the central hub in Odisha. In the 12th century, Anantavarnam, underline this line. Please mute yourself. The one who has unmuted is a lot of disturbance going in the class.
I'm Kapil.
Please mute yourself, beta. Yes, in the 12th century, underline beta, very, very important line. The Anantavarnam, he was a ruler of the Ganga dynasty. He built the Lord Jagannath temple at Puri. So, the later rulers after him of this region identified themselves as the deputy of the Lord. Even
Lord.
today, even today, just ask your parents, just go to the YouTube, वहाँ पे आप सर्च करना. Even आज के टाइम में भी जगन्नाथ रथ यात्रा निकलती है, and is celebrated by the people of Odisha, which much pride, honor, and welfare. Clear?
मैम
ठीक है. So,
Yes.
growth of regional cultures, Rajasthan, Bengal, Odisha is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ. Let's
Yes,
move to
ma'am.
the languages now. Let's move to the languages now. Now, we all know Sanskrit is the mother of all the languages. पता है आपको? You know? And
Yes, ma'am.
it is believed that all the languages emerged from the Sanskrit. सारी languages कहाँ से निकली? संस्कृत से निकली है. So let's talk
Sanskrit.
about the languages during the medieval period. Under the Mughals, Persian was the official court language. जो कोर्ट लैंग्वेज क्या थी? पर्शियन थी. पर्शियन इज द लैंग्वेज. At the same time also, different languages emerge in the different parts of India. Different languages and different cultural, the literally traditions emerge. The first language is the Hindi language. Okay, so Hindi language originated between the 7th and the 10th century. Underline, it is originated under 7th and the 10th century, and it has developed from Sanskrit language and Apabhamsha languages of the medieval period. This development of Hindi language, it has to pass from the three stages. The first stage was, yeah, Adi Kala. क्या था यहाँ
Adikala.
पे? It was the richest period in the history of Hindi literature. Second stage was भक्ति काल, जहाँ पे हमने पढ़ा है निर्गुणा सरगुणा, जहाँ पे हमने we have read about the various, we can say, in the previous chapter कौन सा था आपका, regarding the bhakti movement and everything. And the third stage was रीति काल. रीति काल में क्या था? It was famous for the contribution from the poets like Kesavalstha, Chintamani, and Bihari. And different forms of Hindi. You might have studied in Hindi languages. Like Hindi languages के different forms हैं. ब्रज भाषा and खड़ी बोली. they were used in the devotional songs and the poems. This mark the third last line. This example is the Chand Bardais Prithviraj Raso is a poem describing the valor, the pride, the honor of the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan. So Hindi language is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
now let's
Ma'am,
move to the
explain one
Urdu.
more time.
What is what beta? Hindi language.
Ma'am, Hindi language. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you explain Hindi language one more time? I
It's
was
very easy.
disconnected.
Listen to me. Hindi language is originated between 7th and the 10th century. Basically, it is developed from the Sanskrit language. In this stage has to pass from the three main stages. The first stage was known as Adi Kala, second stage is known as Bhakti Kala, and the third stage was known as Riti Kala. Okay, and the different forms of Hindi languages were are we can say the Braj Bhasha and the Khadi Boli. Example is given the third last line. Example is the Chand Bardai's Prithviraj Raso. He described in his poem about the pride, the honor of the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan. Hindi language is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Now let's
ma'am.
move to the Urdu language. Urdu. You might have so you are still studying Urdu languages, you know,
Yes,
है
ma'am.
ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Urdu,
Yes.
Urdu. Just tell me Urdu and Jammu and Kashmir. What is the connection? बताओ बेटा. Urdu and Jammu and Kashmir. What is the connection?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, the
because
Kashmiri people
Kashmir is
speak
also
Urdu.
there, so much Kashmiri or Urdu
Listen to
only.
me. You don't know. Urdu was the official language of Jammu and Kashmir. You know, till 5th August 2019, it was official language of Jammu and Kashmir because earlier Jammu and Kashmir was a state. Now Jammu and Kashmir is a UT. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, apart from Urdu, Hindi, Dogri, these all are the languages, the official languages of in Jammu and Kashmir. So Urdu originated from Urdu किसका mixture है? Urdu is a mixture of Persian and the Hindi language. Persian language और हिंदी language को मिला के कौन सी language emerge हुई? उर्दू language emerge हुई. और it is
Urdu.
believed that उर्दू language है ये कहाँ से हम emerge हुई है? Originate कहाँ से हुई है? From the reign of Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khalji. Now this language flourished in the kingdoms of Bijapur and Golconda, and the earliest available work in Deccani Urdu is mystical prose treatise. क्या नाम है इसका prose का? Mirajul Ashikin. And who has written this? It was written by the saint Gesudaraj. He was the early 15th century poet. And Urdu arrived in North India in a more developed form during the Mughal period. Clear? Urdu is clear? ठीक है.
Ma'am,
Next,
Yes,
explain
ma'am.
one more time.
we have the Assamese
Listen to me,
language.
beta.
Excuse me, ma'am. Please explain
Just wait.
Urdu.
Let me cover the chapter first. Then I'll explain. So the third is the Assamese language. Assamese. नाम से पता चल रहा है? It was developed in the Assam region, Assam state of India. And this language, this literature was a response to the Bhakti movement. Last chapter में पढ़ा हमने regarding the Bhakti movement.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it was the
Yes,
Shankaradeva.
ma'am.
Just read the third line. It was a Shankaradeva. He was a great poet who played a significant role, means a very important role in the development of these languages. And he also wrote poetry in the Assamese languages. His disciple कौन होता है? Follower, है ना? His disciple, that is a Mahadeva, wrote Bhakti Ratnavali, underline beta, which talked about the different aspects of Bhakti. He also wrote a handbook consisting of a large number of hymns called the Bharagitas, depicting the life of Krishna. गीता आपने पढ़ी है बेटा? फेवरेट गीता? गीता इज द होली बुक ऑफ हिंदूज. वाइट भी आपके घर पे होंगी सास के पेरेंट्स. तो
Yes,
गीता
ma'am.
गीता में क्या लिखा है? गीता, द भगवत गीता, it depicts the life of Krishna in Vrindavan, and another work also dealing with the childhood of Krishna. So Gopal Chandra Devji Devaja wrote the story of Krishna as told in the Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Puran. भगवत गीता विष्णु पुराण की सीरियल्स भी आते हैं DD1 पे. लॉकडाउन में बहुत चले थे ये. Have you ever seen?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
हाँ, विष्णु पुराण,
Yes, ma'am.
Bhagavad Gita, right? So Assamese poets, Assamese prose developed mainly through the compilation of historical chronicles. known as Buranjis. Basically, क्या होता है बेटा? All these are Puranas, Gitas, and all these holy texts are converted to various languages by various poets. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And
Yes, ma'am.
this conversion
Yes,
of this,
ma'am.
listen to me. This conversion of Bhagavad
Yes,
Gita's
ma'am.
and Vishnu Puranas in Assamese language, it was written on the instructions of the Ahom's king. So Assamese is clear. Assamese language, Urdu, Hindi. Now let's shall move to the Punjabi language.
Excuse me,
Punjabi.
ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes, speak.
Ma'am,
Please tell me your
Urdu
name.
language.
Tell me your name, please. What is your name?
Ma'am, can you explain Urdu language one more time?
What is your name? I want to know your name.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
Priyanshi.
Migati and
And
Priyanshi.
Urdu language is very simple, beta. Read the paras. Everything is written in the book. That is a fusion. Means you it's a compilation of Persian and the Hindi language. उर्दू को हम लोग बिलीव करते हैं कि पर्शियन लैंग्वेज और हिंदी लैंग्वेज को मिला के बनी है और इसका ओरिजिनेट कहाँ हुआ डेवलप कहाँ पे हुई during the reign of rule of Alauddin Khilji. This language flourished in the Bijapur and Golconda regions of India and the Mirajul Ashikin. This prose was written by the saint Gesu Daraz. Simple language is this Urdu language.
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is the Punjabi language. So we talk about the Punjabi language. Who is the Sikh Guru of who is the Sikh Guru?
Guru Nanak Dev Ji.
Guru
Guru Nanak
Gobind.
Dev Ji. Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So Masood Fariduddin, a 13th century mystic poet, was a pioneer of the new school of poetry in the Punjabi language. We talk about Punjabi languages. So the name is given. He was a mystic poet, Masood Fariduddin. So he started a new school of poetry in the Punjabi language. But later on, a major contribution was towards the Punjabi languages, Punjabi poetry was went through during the end of the 15th century by the Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Later on, Sikh gurus like one of the Guru Arjun Dev Ji, he compiled the Adi Granth in 1604th century and also wrote Sukhmani, Adi Granth and Sukhmani. And Sukhmani, this book was one of the longest and the greatest of the medieval mystic poems. The contribution of Guru Gobind Singh Ji is also invaluable. Punjabi's prose made immense progress and a number of religious and philosophical works also translated from Sanskrit to Punjabi languages between 1600 to 1800 century. Clear? Punjabi language is clear. In Punjabi
Yes,
Yes,
language,
ma'am.
we
ma'am.
have studied about the
Yes, ma'am.
contribution of the Guru Nanak Dev Ji,
Yes,
Guru
ma'am.
Arjun Dev Ji in the book Adi Granth and Sukhmani. Let's move to Marathi language. Marathi language mostly spoken in which part?
Maharashtra.
The Maharashtra languages.
Maharashtra.
This language emerged in the later half of the 13th century. So the major contribution in the Marathi language was made by the saint poets like Eknath and Tukaram, Abhangas. So Ramdas and Vamana Pandita, underline the names here, beta, also contributed to the Marathi prose and poetry. And this in the 17th century it saw a compilation of the secular poetry in the form of povadas or ballads describing the warfare skills. वॉरफेयर स्किल्स क्या होती है जो हम लोग जब वॉर में जाते हैं वी हैव स्किल्स है ना फेंसिंग स्किल्स होती हैं तलवारबाजी इसको बोलते हैं एंड द सेल्फलेस वेलवर ऑफ द मराठास एंड द लावनीस पता है आपको लावनी विच वर रोमांटिक
Yes,
वर्क
ma'am.
लावनी इज अ डांस फॉर्म
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Lavanya.
ma'am.
हाँ लावनी देखा सुना है देखा आपने डांस फॉर्म हैव एवर सीन
Yes,
लावनी इन द
ma'am. Yes,
हाँ
ma'am. Yes,
लावनी
ma'am.
इन सब का डिस्क्रिप्शन इज गिवन इन द 17th century poetry. Marathi language is clear?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta. Let me tell me your name first.
My voice is not clear.
It is not clear to you. It's not clear to everyone. Please
Ma'am,
check
your
your
voice is
connection, please.
clear.
Ma'am, your voice is
Please,
clear.
please check your connection, beta. Please check your connection. So let's move to South India. Yes. Please move to let's move to South India. So we talk about South India. We
Excuse me.
see a group of three poets, namely Nayana, Tikana, underline, and Yeya Pradada. is between the 11th and the 14th centuries. And बेटा देखो यहाँ पे क्या अंडरलाइन फोर्थ लाइन it translated देखो महाभारत into Telugu languages. Understood? In the whole chapter we will study this only. This Mahabharata, this Adi Granth, the Vishnu Puran, Bhagavad Gita, these were translated into various languages. We have seen in the previous topic that this thing, भागीरथ, देन भगवत गीता, विष्णु पुराण, इसको ट्रांसलेट किया एसएमएस लैंग्वेज में, ऐसे पढ़ा हमने. देन पंजाबी में क्या पढ़ा हमने पंजाबी लैंग्वेज में, दैट द प्रोसेस वर ट्रांसलेट फ्रॉम संस्कृत टू पंजाबी. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द साउथ इंडिया. यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, महाभारत वाज ट्रांसलेटेड इनटू तेलुगु लैंग्वेज. ठीक है. And in Tamil languages, in Tamil, the compilation of the poems of the Alvaras and Vaishnava saints is known as Divya Pradhambam. And Nalariram underline is considered one of the most important among them. And this prose consists of the hymns composed by the 12 Alvar saints, including Tirumalasai Alvar and Namambalar, etc. The songs of Nayanar or Saiva saints were compiled in series of books. Under the name of the book, what is the name? Tirumurai. What is the name? Tirumurai. Yes, some of the important Nayanar saints were upper. Underline the names of the saints upper. Then we have Sambadar and Sundarar.
Tirumurai.
Yeah, who composed the first 9 books known as Devaram. Underline the name of the books Devaram. Now, during the Chola period, Kamban wrote the Tamil version of Ramayana. Again, यहाँ पे क्या हुआ? The Ramayana language is
Ma'am, what is
translated.
the name of the book?
It's written on the third last line, Devaram.
Okay, ma'am.
Please read the text side by side. And here also we have seen in the first para the Mahabharata was translated into Telugu language, and the last line again the Ramayana was translated into Tamil languages. Clear? South Indian language is clear? Culture?
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
move to Bengali culture. Again, the Bengali culture has 3 main stages. The first stage of Bengali traditional literature covered the period between 10th and the 12th century. अब 10th and the 12th century में क्या हुआ था? This period was mainly about was in the form of folk songs, and this was influenced by the philosophy of the Sahaja cult. Second stage began with the Muslim conquest. Second stage में क्या हो गया? Muslims आ गए. Mughals ruled Bengal, and they continue till the end of the 17th century. The 3 main trends of this stage were Vaishnava poetry. This is the whole look at this thing. Vaishnava poetry, translation and adaptation from the classical Sanskrit language. Then we have the Mangal Kavya form of poetry. In the first thing, we see the Vaishnava poets like Chandidasa, Govindasa, Krishnadasa, Kaviraja, and they were inspired by the saints' mystic preachings होती हैं, teachings वगैरह. And they composed a number of lyrics in a new literary languages with a blend of Maithili language and Sanskrit languages. In the second stage, we can see the Kasi Rama translated Mahabharata. Again, यहाँ पे महाभारत रामायण जो है वो translate की गई. In the last stage, we can see the Mangal Kavya form of poetry. And this religious text of Bengali Hindu tradition written in the 4th and the 5th century. Underline कहाँ पे लिखा है? 4th and the 5th century में. And this came to be known as a Mangal Kavya. The narrative form of the Mangal Kavya was derived from the Purana. So, Bengali literature is clear. Now, let's move to the regional arts. Here is the page. Yeah.
Ma'am, Bengal when
Regional art and the
Can you,
culture. Let
excuse me,
me
ma'am? Can you
let,
explain Bengal?
let me complete the chapter first. Then I'll clear your doubts. So, regional arts and the culture. अब regional arts and culture में we'll study about the architectural style, mainly the Indo-Islamic style, जहाँ पे इंडिया का प्लस इस्लाम का mixture है. Then the paintings, we have the manuscripts illumination, the new heights of the buildings due to substitution of the papers for the palm leaves as the writing material. So let's talk about the architectural style, the second para, this para. So this para talks about the Indo-Islamic style in India, which was emerged during the Mughal period, the medieval period. And this was, in some cases, the regional style of architecture was absolutely independent of both the local as well as the Indo-Islamic style. We can see most of the monuments in India that are the fusion, that are the mixture of Indian style as well as of the Islamic style. So let's talk about the Bengal again. The establishment of Muslim rule in Bengal, as we have already seen, it led to the development of the mosque in Bengal. And this mosque led to the development of the independent architectural style. अब ये जो style था, it was developed in the 14th century and it was lasted for more than a period of 250 years. The Bengal style spread in all parts of the region and most of the prominent buildings were located within the boundary of the Malda district. And the first image is given, the Chinka or Chamkan Mosque, Gaur. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, यहाँ पे क्या है? These were the main
Yes,
two
ma'am.
principal cities, Gaur and the Pandua, which in turn enjoyed the status of the capital seat of the regional ruling power. Capital city थी वो, the main hub of the ruling power. Now between the 15th and the 19th centuries, a number of temples were also built apart from mosque. Mosque भी built हुए and temples were also built with a distinct Bengali style. And we can find the temples having a double roof. Double roof होती temples की या तो four roofs होती है. It was a distinctive, a different, something different feature of temples in Bengal. So temples in Bengal and Chinkas, yeah, in temples the mosque is clear. Mosque was also established in Bengal and temples were also established in Bengal. Clear? Now let's
Yes,
move to Jaunpur. So Jaunpur again, Jama Masjid. Jami Masjid is given the second image on the same page. We can see it was built. The Shirki kingdom was founded by the Malik Sarwar. He was a noble of the Firuz Shah Tughlaq, the Tughlaq dynasty in 1394. This architecture has a strong influence on this based on the Tughlaq style. The most important feature of this Jaunpur style of architecture is the design of the facade of the mosque. देखो डिजाइन देखो बेटा मॉस्क का कैसे दिए हैं यहाँ पे. Can you see? Look at the screen.
yes, ma'am. We can
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
हाँ, look at the books also. So the main buildings include mosque, tombs
Yes,
and
ma'am.
palaces. The features क्या है? Now what are features? Features we can see. The features of this style including patterned walls, fringed arc देखो यहाँ पे. You can see the arc, a half circle we can say. You know what is arc? In maths you must have studied about the arc.
Yes, ma'am.
देखो
Yes,
बेटा,
ma'am.
हाँ arc है यहाँ पे. Then the beam combination, beam on the both the sides. And these were some of the features of the Tughlaq architecture. And we can see this type of structure mostly in the central part of India, the Malwa region, the Dhar, the Mandua, and the Chandari style can be seen as the distinctive form of all these mosques in the India during the medieval period. So just on the page, yes, here. So now we have the other regions. Similarly, in Deccan, the Bidar, Vijayanagar, the Gujarat, we find the development of the indigenous styles of the architectural style during the medieval period. This style depicts the fusion, means combination of Islamic culture, Indian culture, and Persian culture of, yeah, we can say Persian style of architecture. The Vijayanagar style of architecture is found throughout the South India. It is the finest and the most characteristic group of building to be seen in the city of Vijayanagar. Clear? Other regions
Yes,
regarding the
ma'am.
architecture is clear. Now let's move to the paintings. Painting. Okay. We talk about the painting in Jammu and Kashmir. Which painting is famous in a state? In a UT? कौन सी पेंटिंग बसोली पेंटिंग सुना आपने? Bosoli painting, the miniature paintings. Have you ever heard about this thing? Bosoli painting.
Yes, ma'am.
It's beautiful paintings. So paintings. In the painting of in the field of painting also, the painting also had the style of the Mughal, the flavor, the touch of the Mughal emperor, the medieval period. So there were the beautiful paintings adorned in the Jaina text. Under the Mughals, this form of painting became particularly popular as they used it for the illustration manuscripts containing historical accounts of the poets. Now the theme paintings की theme क्या होती थी? The themes were revolve around the hunting scenes and depicting the social and the court life. They were generally reserved for the viewing of the king and his associate. I tell you again, paintings के बारे में क्या था? Paintings during the medieval period was mostly about the historical accounts of the poetries, the hunting scenes के बारे में था. And this painting depicting में show करना show करता था social life and the court life of the people of the rulers during the medieval period. Now let's again move to Rajasthan. Let's talk about the Rajasthani painting. With the decline of the Mughal Empire, the painters also sought refuge in regional kingdoms. One of the centers where regional paintings could take a distinct identity was Rajasthan. So Rajasthan became the main hub of the paintings after the fall of Mughal Empire. The Rajasthani paintings had a distinct aesthetic quality, means a very beautiful quality in very spiritual we can say. In its early phase, it shows a greater vigor towards absorb Mughal influence. Later, starting में क्या था in the early period, it has a Mughal favor in that. But after the collapse of the Mughal power, जैसे जैसे Mughal power collapse होगी, it re-emerged and flourished under the patronage of different Rajput kingdoms. अब ये पेंटिंग्स जो है वो चेंज होती गई एज पर द राजपूत किंगडम्स. Rajasthani paintings since its beginning adapted to nature as a main theme. Okay, now tell me, Rajasthani painting का main aim क्या था? Theme क्या थी? Nature. Clear? Am I audible?
Yes,
What?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Nature was the main theme of the
Yes,
Rajasthani.
ma'am.
In this line,
Say one
as
more time.
On
illustrations.
which line?
Are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
I have zoomed the screen also. It is there. Fifth or sixth line. The nature was the main theme of the Rajasthani paintings. The Rajasthani miniatures means small paintings, also known as for the intensity of the colors used. Which colors? Deep blue for clouds, streaks of gold showing flashes of lightning, and emerald green for foliage, and were some of the most prominent used colors. Now in Rajasthan we know Pink City. Wait, what is Pink? Pink City? Name the Pink City. Yes, Pink City किसको बोलते हैं राजस्थान में? जयपुर. Yes. Now the other regions we have, देखो यहाँ पे third line, apart from the Rajasthani paintings, पहाड़ी paintings, जम्मू and कश्मीर में, the Basoli paintings, Deccani, the Kangra school of painting also developed, also brought a new spirit of into the miniatures painting. And this source of inspiration came from the Western Rite traditions. This painting also used to make the use of soft colors like blue, green, red, and a very lyrical treatment of themes. Now let's shall move to the music part. We all know Indian classical music is very famous. It is divided into two forms, Hindustani music and the Carnatic music. Hindustani music became a very popular in northern India, and second one, Carnatic music, it became very popular in the southern India. And again, when the Turks they came to India, they introduced with a new form of music instruments like rabab and sarangi. Later on, Amir Khusraho invented sitar. Sitar देखा आपने कभी सितार? Yes.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
सितार किस
Yes, ma'am.
to India? Amir Khusraho.
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul, please mute yourself. Yes, girl, please mute yourself. Amir Khusraho invented sitar to India. However, the development of the music as an art form in the Delhi Sultanate took a backseat to the growth of architecture and painting. Moreover, the history of music during the period suffers the most serious handicap, which is a lack of documentation. Historical references are scattered and few. We don't find any references, any historical proof of the music instruments of the music used in the music popular in the medieval period. Next is here Amir Khusraho. Amir Khusraho also left an enduring mark on the music not only of the Sultanate but of the India as a whole. Then, this Amir Khusraho, he invented new compositions as well as the new form of music in his time. He is credited to have the Qawwali, Khayal mode of sing Qawwali. Qawwali, beta, Qawwali, is Qawwali. Have you ever heard about this thing Qawwali?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
credited to have the
Yes,
Qawwali
ma'am.
of singing in India. Several other modern rags.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, Priyanshi, and mute yourself. Samia, you also mute yourself. So, a new musical instrument called sitar and veena, Indian veena, and the Iranian tambura brought new life to the Indian music. Now, shall talk about the dance. There are six dance forms that recognized as classical, mainly Kathak. सुना है आपने कथक के बारे में?
Yes,
कथक,
ma'am.
या नाट्यम,
Yes, ma'am.
Kathakali,
Yes, ma'am.
Odissi, Kuchipudi, and the Manipuri. The term Kathak is derived from the word Katha, which means Katha, story. है ना हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कथा को story.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Kathak were originally
Yes, ma'am.
storytellers in temples of North India performed the gestures, है ना gestures with body languages and songs. वो songs पे क्या करते हैं gestures दिखाते हैं अपने emotions दिखाते हैं. And Kathak began to evolve into a distinct mode of dance in the 15th and the 16th centuries, which spread because of the Bhakti movement. The legends of the Radha Krishna were enacted in the folk plays called Ras Leela, है ना गोपियों की रास लीला लाइक ऐसे वो है होता है. So which combined folk dance with the basic gestures of the Kathak. Storytellers had developed Kathak into a dance form with a different style and identity. Under the patronage of Wazid Ali Khan, Wazid Ali Shah, the last Nawab of Awadh, underline the last Nawab of Awadh, he was Wazid Ali Khan. He grew it into a major art form and was established as a dance form of the whole of the northern India. This was about the dance, music, and painting. I request all of you to please read the chapter again and watch the video for the ones who were disconnected in between. So please, the center chapter is clear. All of you,
Excuse me, ma'am.
I request all of you to please see the chapter once again. Tomorrow
Excuse
or
me, ma'am.
to me, let me speak. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we're meeting again. Any doubts, please let me know. So, just watch the video. There is recorded video. I'll send it on the Google Classroom. So, regarding the question answers, just find it to yourself and please learn the syllabus for the unit test 3.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, in my Google Classroom, every class is coming, but SST class is not coming.
yours, only yours.
Yes, ma'am.
Just check your Google Classroom. All are getting my messages on Google Classroom. All are getting.
Yes,
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
I
ma'am.
am,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am,
There might be
ma'am,
some problem with the class, with
Yes,
the
ma'am,
handset.
can you send the link? Excuse
ma'am.
me,
I
ma'am.
think
The link will be sent on the Google Classroom only. Better try to understand because I don't have access on the staff
ma'am, I
homework. मेरे
think she
पास
has enrolled.
might be she has yeah, maybe you have removed yourself from the class. Maybe.
Ma'am,
So
let
any
No,
doubt in
ma'am.
today's class? Any doubt in today's class? Tell me.
no, ma'am, everything is clear.
Okay, good.
no,
All the best.
ma'am.
Take
Ma'am,
care of
can you
yourself.
send the recording
Thank you.
on?
I'm sending every time I'm sending, but you don't watch. I'm sending every time, but there are no views.
No, ma'am, but can you send on that WhatsApp?
WhatsApp we are not allowed to send the links on the WhatsApp. The platform is given, Google Classroom is given. We are sending there. Everything I'm sending there, even the small notes, small things, small messages I'm sending there. So if you have no doubt, please leave the class. All of you take care of yourself. God bless you
Thank
all.
you, ma'am.
Let's meet
Thank you,
again
ma'am.
on Wednesday.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice
Yeah,
day,
let's meet.
ma'am.
You also, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
In next class, we'll do
Have a
Have a
geography part.
nice day, ma'am.
You also.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Thank you, Have ma'am. a nice day,
Have
Bye,
a
ma'am.
nice
ma'am.
day, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank
Have
you,
a nice day,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye
Have a
bye.
Have a
great,
nice day, ma'am.
have a great day, ma'am.
Have a
Have a
nice day,
nice day.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.